Well, you've had a preview of the windmill, so we finally got all the ingredients together. So what we're going to do is to show you how to turn this, which is the finest organic Lincolnshire wheat, into this, a very nice loaf of bread. It may not be the perfect loaf, but it will be the best tasting loaf, because we're using the flour that we milled in our own windmill, which is apparently, according to the miller, is 70% of the taste is lost in high-speed mills. So when you go to the supermarket and you buy your organic flour, there's 70% of it lost. So there we are. Anyway, I just did this for a slight introduction. So we're going to use, to do this, we need a combine harvester, a windmill, the ingredients, which also include butter and sugar and yeast, of course, and the bread maker. Nice old authentic barrow, look, all right stuff. Right, got me back to corn from the farmer, and now I'm going to use my mill. I'm going to end up with some bread, hopefully. There we are. Right, we'll take this inside. We'll just put it in and then we'll start milling it. There we are. Right, here's my wheat up. So throw it in the bag, see, and we're milling it. So there we are. There it is. You can see there. Look, that's it going into the millstone. Yeah, there's my flour being milled, look, see? So we're milling a flour in our own windmill, result. Right, done my bag of flour, look, all labelled up. There we are. Right, so we'll go off and make some bread. I think we're set up. What I'm going to do is, this is not a lesson of how to use a bread maker, but I'm going to show you how to make the finest bread. Not the perfect loaf, but the finest tasting bread, using the finest organic wheat milled in the windmill, which you've probably seen the video of me doing that, but we're using it in this video of making the bread. So that's what we're doing. We've even got the finest tea towels. If you've ever watched Heartbeat, and I'm sure some of you will have done, there we are, look, and there's the tea towel, the souvenir tea towel from Gothland, from Heartbeat land. How about that? So we'll use that. Right, what we have to do, we put 12 fluid ounces of water into the bread maker. Now we're going to open the bag. I'll just double check that you can see. Yeah. There we are. Right, that, you remember that, of course, remembering me walking out the windmill with my bag of flour. Well, that's it. So we're opening this and we're using the finest flour, milled by my own fair hand in the windmill. So we'll see how we go on. So we will put 1 teaspoon of salt in. Right, sugar, I've got some sugar, yes. Tablespoon of sugar. There we are. That's that measure, by the way. That's a tablespoon, and that ends a teaspoon. So that's very handy to have. And you put them in the corner. So we've got some butter. I hope you can see. I'm sorry it's a bit far away, but without us zooming on the camera all the time, you know. And as I say, I'm not teaching you how to use bread maker. I'm just showing you putting the ingredients in, and then we'll make the bread, and then you can see the result later, hopefully. So you know, it would have been nice to have had a coal-fired bakery to use, but you know, let's be fair. I mean, coming out for an old boy just to have use of my own windmill, I think, is a major achievement, which I'm sure you'll agree. Right, no. You must get enough. That's it. That goes in there, and that's it. And we'll pop this in the bread maker and switch it on. Now, there we are. Right, I'll plug it in. Make sure the setting's right. Yes. The settings are right at that. So we'll press start. Now, you could either listen to it going whir 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 and then going beep 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 for 3 hours, or I can switch it off and come back later. Which would you prefer? Right, we've got the bread out of the bread maker. We've had a slice and it really is delicious. It really is. Here we are, we have some bread and butter here. It's the finest Irish butter on it. And I tell you, oh, could be talking in a mouthful, but Bill Gates' millions could not buy better bread than that is. Just remember, it's made from the finest Lincolnshire wheat, organic wheat, milled in the traditional way in a windmill, so it doesn't destroy the flavour, and it really is the best you can get. So there we are, worth the effort.